Hello and welcome back. This is Anita Black Show, and yes, it is getting hot. And the subject of restoring honor to America has done its job, I guess. It has gotten black folks talking about what it would take to restore honor to America. And today we went into the second phase of it. For the show, we went into restoring honor to black communities, what it would really take. And this is part one of the series of what it would take to restore honor back to black people. So we're going to start you off with the poem of the day. And this one is called, Without Our Elders, We Are Lost. I had a black community back when I was growing up. My neighbors knew each other, and they looked out after us. Grandfather, he was like a king, a giant of a man. Grandmother, she was like a queen, just 5'1" she stands. Men worked and they protected, and they showed us what we need. To make a strong black family, avoid selfishness and greed. Though some may work harder than some and others have to manage, they taught us to respect all blacks and never take advantage. The demons snatched our elders out, and we began to fight. We didn't know where they'd taken them, but we knew it couldn't be right. Without our elders, we were lost, and black children began to stray. They sold their parents' property, and then they moved away. But they didn't move to black neighborhoods. They had to be near whites. They had to reap the benefits of their new civil rights. They didn't care if they paid too much, as long as they achieved the image of white supremacy, or so some would believe. Blacks didn't read their history, or they would surely know the value of their parents' land and the crops they used to grow. Their land was like the diamonds, and their farms were like the gold we had when we were kings and queens before we lost our souls. God once again can enter your home if you choose to let him in, and the devil can only lynch you if you think that he's your friend. That's the Black Panther poem of the day by Anita Black. And we are actually going to go ahead and jump into this. What it would take to restore honor to black communities. Now, got a lot of different opinions depending on who you talk to. There are 7 segments, just to get you guys familiar. Those of you that are not familiar with the breakdown that the Panther Party has of the community and how the school runs as far as helping people understand each other and the situation at hand, so that every day black people are working on correcting the situation. So we're going to break down the 7 segments for you first. That way you'll understand when you're talking to various black people exactly who you're talking to. So if you think of your city, let's say your city is Chicago, and in Chicago, most black people think of it as this city that's supposed to have, equal opportunity for blacks and whites, and if everybody work hard, everything goes great. But most black people don't think of Chicago as being 2 separate cities. They don't think of it as being a white Chicago and a black Chicago until we get into these discussions, and they are forced to admit that the police force treats whites different from blacks. The entertainment system treats whites treat whites different from blacks. The injustice system treats whites different from blacks. The school system treats whites different than blacks. So once you get into those discussions and they are able to really be honest with themselves and each other in the discussion groups, they see that, yes, each of the countries, each of the cities, each of the towns, the counties are made up of two separate places, and a lot of people were fooled into believing in the 60s that had suddenly all went away. And as much as they saw, it did not. They once again allowed themselves to be fooled again in 2008 with this Obama campaign into believing that, well, it didn't happen when we thought it happened, but now it's happened for real. And so it was amazing to see how many black people actually fell for it again. The same song and dance of how it's one America. You'll hear Obama all the time talking about it's one America, it's one America. He himself, since during his campaign and since becoming president, not to mention back before when he was a senator and in school, all different kinds of places, even when he was young, he himself, if he were honest, would be able to honestly say that he has experienced two separate Americas, one white, one black. Yes, he has given up all of his blackness in order to assimilate himself into the white one. It still does not negate the fact that there is a white America and that he left black America in order to be in that white world. He gave up everything he knew as black. So let's go through the segments real quick so that people will understand when they're talking to people. So if you got the city of Chicago, and you think of it as a plantation, as you know, the slave trade never ended. It simply changed locations. So instead of you being on a agricultural plantation, you are now prepared and processed and to enter into, at some point, the prison industrial plantation. But whether you're on the agricultural former plantation or the current criminal justice provided prison industrial plantation, you will find the same things. You will find house Negroes, field Negroes, and free Negroes. And people say, well, how can you find free Negroes in the prison industrial complex? And normally, when we talk about free Negroes, we talk about free-minded Negroes. And you will usually not see them much because they will normally be held in isolation for the entire time that they are on this plantation. They are kept away from the field Negroes so as not to educate or do anything that would make field Negroes start thinking and being and knowing. And they are kept away from house Negroes because, of course, they are very hard on house Negroes. So house Negroes tend to avoid them as well.